I often say to look at who's got what right. Who's got what right? If you look at the Pentecostal church, they got a lot right. They just dance and joy for the Lord. They got a lot right. You might want to get that part right. You look at the Muslims, they got a lot right. When they pray, they're on their face. As the Bible teaches, by the way. It's called obedience, prostrate position. Your physical posture shows humility. Look at the way a Japanese person will hand something to another person. They use both hands and they bow. Body language, they call it. God looks at your body language. You ever talk to somebody and look at their body language? The way they tilt their head, or the way they he or haw or hum or cross their arms when they're talking to you? Yeah. Now, this may seem strange to a lot of you because, well, you're sheep, but you talk to people that are in the CIA or the FBI, military, and police, law enforcement. Obviously, people that are into psychology. They will agree with everything I'm telling you. But I know most of you don't understand that, and that's okay. It's not your field of interest. There are things about a lot of subjects that I don't understand because it's your field of interest. So humility in your mind when you're hearing something you don't know, rather than guard yourself against it. And most of you have already been traumatized by the previous either religion you were in or drugs you took or abuse or indoctrination. Or it might be the fact that truly, as John 3:19, 20, 21 says, you just love the darkness, and maybe you're learning not to love the darkness. Or maybe you still do. Like Lot's wife, you're looking back because you still want to go back to that darkness. You still have a hunger and a tempering. Some people, they lose the temptation altogether. Others, you struggle with it. It's okay. As Jesus told Thomas, some can believe without seeing. Some of you, well, you have to touch it and feel it and hear it with your own ears before you believe it. And even then, many don't believe. There are more people who have believed without ever seeing or touching than those who have believed because they saw and they touched. So that's called trust, what you call faith. The Mormons got a lot right. We all know that in America. We talk about it all the time. And people who are not Christian even notice it. People who are not Christian can look at both the Christian and the Mormon and tell you what the difference is, who have been exposed to both. And they'll tell you they'd rather trust a Mormon before they trust a Christian. And they'd rather date a Mormon girl before they date a Christian girl. Just the morals are different, more family-minded. The husband's the priest of the home. Well, God determined that. That didn't come from Mormonism. Their churches aren't full of a bunch of entertainment rock performances. It's more about the liturgy, the learning, the lessons. Now, there doesn't seem to be a lot of joy, but there's a lot of practical, moral, and community social responsibility, even to a non-Mormon. And they take care of their own. The Muslim doesn't worship a statue. Prays on his face. Then there's our Jewish brethren. They got a lot right, don't they? They should get most right. Because all these other people I'm talking about, they're not the original article. The Hebrew people, the Jewish thought. If anybody should have it right, it should be the Jews. And like the Mormons, it's about family and community. They don't say we have the Torah, we don't need to do works. Oh, they do works. Oh, indeed. That's an expression of the faith that they have, not the reason why they have it. It's called mitzvahs, to do the good deeds. Now, after the captivity in Babylon, they got a lot wrong because then the rabbis took over. And we can get into the discussion when, where, why, how, whatever. Doesn't matter. They took over. And then they started adding and subtracting some things, didn't they? They did more adding than subtracting. They were rebuked at one point for their music, praise, singing, rituals, while in their heart they lost the joy of the Lord. They were rebuked for following idols, pagan idols, not just making Christian idols, Jewish idols, the menorah, the tefillin, the tzitzit, things that are a part of history that are not meant to be worshipped, nor meant to be replicated. Like they replicate crosses the way they replicated the Asherah poles. That's not the purpose. Now you have to have a stick with a snake on it. That's where the cross comes from, the image of it. And how could it not come from that? If I be lifted up, I would draw all men unto me. Oh, look at the cross. We have songs at the cross. Look under the cross. On the cross, on the cross, on the cross. Look at the cross. The Asherah pole was the cross for them. They were sick. They got healed by it. But it was a prototype of Christ taking on the sin. The poison was in the snake. He took the sin. You were bit by sin. The sin is in you. And they say to heal someone of a snake bite, you got usually the antivenom. You need it from the snake. He became the snake on the stick. On the stick. On the tree. That's the original term, not cross. It was on the tree, on the stick, on the wood where he was crucified. Came up, that method of murder was devised by the Phoenicians and perfected by the Romans. But our Jewish brethren, they eat kosher, they honor the Shabbat, they recognize that they are learning the Lord and they're beginning the road to learn him. They don't just become a Jew. Like a Jew is different because it's cultural. And in your words, it's also religious, though it's not really religion. It's just culture. God didn't create religion, created man. Man loving God is not religion. It's man loving God as he was created to be. You guys make religion as like some sort of addendum in addition to your life. That's not, no. Loving God is life. It is natural. It's not religion. It is the belief that man was created to believe. You shouldn't have to teach a child that you're daddy. You're created to know that's your daddy, that's your mother. It's not a religion. The rules in the house, same thing with father. And this is why I long for young believers who have not been indoctrinated and have not been in drugs, have not been abused. I long for clear minds that can hear. And the most troubling people are the people who come from all of the other stuff that you have to teach and watch. Because there's a program in you. And that resistance, that it would be natural that all men would have a somewhat resonance to God. But it's hyper resistance and hyper resistance. You have a hyper rebellion. Because if you're already born in sin and conceived in iniquity, and you add on top of it, you've just made it that much more difficult, harder, and your road that much longer. Oh, I can't seem to get it right. Well, look how you started. Look where you come from. For some, it's going to take more. Yeah, it's like any disease. For some, it's going to require more chemo, more radiation. For some, you're going to have to give up a lot more, endure a lot more, because you come from a lot more. And for those who come from a lot less, they have a shorter road to go. But it's not the point, is it? It wouldn't matter how much more you have to do or how much farther you have to go, because you're on the road to get there. And so what if somebody arrives at a destination before you and you're still 40 miles behind? You get jealous that they got there quicker than you. Maybe their car's in better shape. Maybe they took a better route. Who knows? But they got there quicker than you. What does that have to do with you? Just keep going until you get there. Better to arrive than never to arrive. The joy of the Lord. So there's a lot. So take the pieces when you see it done right. Because no one has it all. You ought to be able to have wisdom and the eyes to see. And when you don't have that, that's the purpose of a shepherd, people who have better eyes than you. Do you get jealous because somebody knows the directions better than you? Don't you ask them? Or what do you say? Hey, why don't you lead the convo? You lead the way. But you're jealous, egotistical, prideful, and narcissistic. You don't want to be led. And that's okay. Man can go his own way. Nobody is stopping you. Love the Lord.